Monty in the morning.
Hey, yo, hell yes, it's Friday. And I actually kind of think it feels like next Friday already. It is Friday, April 30th, 2021. The Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers hate each other.
What a joke. What a joke.
Okay, I feel better. I love it. Mainly because I hate the Packers. And I can't wait to see when Aaron Rodgers leaves the Packers and he goes probably to Denver and they win a Super Bowl. And I hope it's beating the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers throws for like 400 yards for, Horseface Elway and the Broncos. That will be amazing. Meanwhile, the Bears still suck, and they got Justin Fields, who was not happy. We'll talk about that. All kinds of stories around the NFL draft. Joe Rogan is still a jackass. Oh, yeah, by the way, we have a major update on my renovation project, if you can believe that. And the Utah Jazz are going to be in Phoenix tonight to end their season. All right, we'll see you Monday. That's the whole show. What you should do right now is subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, God bless you. Another huge day on Spotify and Stitcher Radio. Appreciate everybody listening. I don't know how we found our way to Stitcher Radio, but you guys are amazing. If you're listening on iTunes, thank you so much. Apple Podcasts, excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. You guys do an amazing job supporting the show. I'm trying to think, I think we're only 30-something subscribers away from 500. We are 34 subscribers away. We are at 466.
Let's go, man.
We've had a pretty big week on subscriberage.
Subscriberage.
Yeah, and what we're going to do is give away this here little Xbox Series S when we get to 500. All you have to do is hit subscribe. Take a picture that you are subscribed, and then take that picture and tweet it. Tag at The Monty Show, this guy, and SLC Supercars, guy over there. Tag us both on Twitter, hit tweet, and you're entered into the contest. We're hoping to do this on Monday. We'd like to give this away, so tell your friends, tell your mom. Don't tell your dad because your mom. Anyway, point is, get everybody to subscribe. TheMontyShow.com is the best way to get to our YouTube channel. MONTY, TheMontyShow.com. First in, Lopes fan Gabe says, Eldom, boys, let's get it. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last day of the month, Eldom. We are ready. Morning, everybody. Hey, Monty, congratulations on Fields. That's a steal. Also, don't know how Slater fell so hard. No idea. Would agree with that. Talk NFL draft in a moment, but we must start with the Utah Jazz because I think the Utah Jazz are going to Phoenix tonight to die, frankly. If I'm being real honest about it, they're going to be without Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley. And the real question then becomes, how are they going to beat the Phoenix Suns without their two best players? And the answer is, I don't think they are. And what's on the line for the Phoenix Suns tonight is, I think, momentum for the last couple of weeks of the season. I still maintain that even if the Jazz lose this game, they're in the driver's seat based on how difficult the Suns' schedule is. But, Jake, give me your idea, your thoughts. What are the percentages that the Jazz can go to Phoenix and win?
I don't think it's good tonight. I agree with you. I think that not having Don and Conley obviously is going to hurt your ability to beat the Jazz. I think if we just look back to the last time these two teams matched up, I mean, you're talking about a fully healthy Jazz team that lost to a fully healthy Suns team. And I know that was one game, and things could be different, but the thing that really stands out to me is that this Suns team is tenacious defensively. They're not going to allow the Jazz to just go out and shoot a bunch of threes and do that. And inevitably what's going to happen is Bogdanovich is going to try to work in the paint and drive the paint and get those high percentage looks. And he's not going to get it nearly as many of those tonight as he did against the Kings. And I think that this game right here, the Jazz are not going to win this game, in my opinion. And I think what's on the line tonight is, I think momentum. I think if you're the Jazz, it's the worst case scenario because you never wanted to be in a situation where you were level with the Suns for the number 1 seed because the Jazz can't afford not to be the number 1 seed. Whereas, in my opinion, the Suns are a team that can afford not to be the 1 seed, but the 1 seed be really nice to have, which is two very different places to be as a basketball team. So tonight, let's say that the Jazz lose, okay? They lose this game, and then they're battling the Suns the rest of the year. To your point, yes, they have an advantage in scheduling, but at the same time, I think the Suns are a really battle-tested team. I think that they've been going through the ringer since they went 8-0 in the bubble, and this is just kind of their existence, and they're comfortable with it. And that's why I say, I'd rather be the Suns because they're a tight-knit group, they're together, and they're playing great basketball. Whereas the Jazz, you've got your 2 best players hurt. You're having to constantly reinvent this lineup. Like, it's just a racket right now. So tonight, I hope that they don't lose by like 10 to 15 points, but I could really see that happening.
Wow, so you think they're getting blown out?
I think they're getting dominated tonight. Yeah, I do.
And apparently Royce O'Neal is questionable for this game with right wrist soreness. Don't need to know, Royce, what you do in the hotel room on your own time, but I'm telling you, you're important. What? It's a legitimate question.
Oh, my God.
My point is, Royce, for everything he's not offensively, Royce O'Neal is a very good defender. And if Royce doesn't play in this game, you almost feel like the Utah Jazz are going to lay down here. And I just don't think that's an option. With all due respect to Oni, you need to win this game. This is not one of those games where you can be like, we'll be tied, and then we'll really show them who the best is. Because I kind of feel like this is one of those built-in excuses. And if we're keeping it real on the Utah Jazz, let's do that. You can't count on Mike Conley. This is the biggest game of the year. And I've said all year, you can't count on Mike Conley because he's always hurt. And here he is again, the biggest game of the year, and he's not available to you. You're paying him $34 million. When he's on the floor, you have a chance to win. The problem is it's the biggest game of the year, and Mike Conley's not going to be on the floor. And I don't know why the Jazz continue to lean on guys like Mike Conley, who you cannot count on.
Yep.
Injury-prone guys. Why are you in this situation? Well, in the bubble last year, we'd have won the whole damn thing with Bogey. But you didn't because he was hurt. And it is incredibly frustrating to watch this Jazz team year after year have built-in excuses to why they don't meet and achieve their goals. And Jake, I think if they lose this game tonight, it is another example of why Mike Conley's not a guy you can build a championship around.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm not a huge Conley guy. I think that, yes, he is productive. I think, yes, he shoots the 3 ball at a great percentage. And he does nice things when he's on the floor. There's no question about that. But yeah, your best ability is your availability, and I think that being hurt constantly doesn't help this team, and that's why I say you said something there that I thought was really interesting. Why is it that this Jazz team is trying to build an organization around guys who are unreliable in the sense of injury, being injury prone, unreliable in the sense that you don't have an offensive game as a big man, unreliable in the sense that you are paid to shoot a basketball and you or 20%. 3-point shooter for most of this season, in Bogdanovich. So yeah, this Jazz team has a theme here, and I think that this conversation, I know for a fact right now comes off as we're being negative on the Jazz, and yeah, it is a negative conversation, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
At what point do you stop settling for Mike Conley, and do you start going out and making deals for players who have shown you reliability over the course of their career? Because there's plenty of those guys out there. I'm not saying that, a guy like, let's use Isaiah Thomas as an example, a guy who's undersized, who's got a bad reputation about him. I'm not saying that he's as good as Mike Conley, but what I am saying is the guy is healthy, and when he was with the Pelicans for those 10 games, he did some nice things.
Yeah.
Why is it that you don't go out and pick up Mike James? Why is it that you don't go out and pick up Aaron Gordon? Because you're not aggressive, because you don't know how to win. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, and I think as much as that hurts, I think it's just the reality of it. Good morning, A-Pow Darkness.
Haven't heard that one before.
Okay.
Welcome to
the show. He says,
I
got to change my damn name, but I got my Nuggets tickets on SeatGeek, and they're still available. The Jazz ticket guy that I deal with, I have a guy there because, well, they get a ton of our money. It says that they don't have any tickets to sell me for the Nuggets game.
You're being a hater, bro.
He says also I'm a Harriman native. Well, you live right down the street.
Man.
We're in Daybreak. So good to see you, Apow Darkness. Apow Darkness. By the way, if you're going to be at the Jazz game tomorrow, anybody, well, your last name's Darkness, so stay away from me. But the point is, no, I'm kidding. The point is, if you're going to be at the Jazz game tomorrow, Jake and I will be there. Lower bowl, thank you very much.
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
Yeah, we can kick it and flow and stuff. We can elbow bump because, we're not allowed to touch and stuff. And it would be awkward if we did anyway. But the point is, we'd love to hang out, say hello. So hit me up on Twitter or wherever and let me know you're there. And we're happy to hook up with you in the concourse, man.
Whoa.
Easy.
Whoa.
Let's talk about this game specifically tonight because as far as the Phoenix Suns go, I think now you have to really focus and dedicate yourself to blowing the Jazz out tonight.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have Conley and Mitchell. If you allow this Utah Jazz team to hang around and believe that they can win this game, they can win this game.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're the Phoenix Suns, you have to come out and assert your authority right away. And you have to show the Jazz that tonight's not the night you're going to get some crazy upset win because, frankly, we're not having it. And my feeling is that DeAndre Ayton's going to have a big game because Rudy Gobert now certainly is going to have to be a focal point. And I think if you look at Bojan Bogdanovic, he's going to have to do what he did the other night in Sacramento, which is get down on the block. And remember, they're not going to have Jay Crowder or Dario Saric, it doesn't look like. So that's a big thing. If you're the Phoenix Suns, who do you depend or defend Bojan Bogdanovic with?
I think you definitely have options. I mean, I could see Bridges taking him.
I think he's too big for Bridges.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends. I mean, so this is the thing with the NBA, right? Like on paper, you're like, okay, CP3 is matching up with this guy and that guy and the other guy, so you can lay the matchups out on paper. But the fact is that, in this game, there's going to be a ton of switching. If you're the Jazz, you're going to try to play that matchup zone that they've seen. And frankly, I really liked what they did, going back to the Wolves, the 2-game set with the Wolves. I really liked the matchup zone that they played early in that first game, where they were making sure that if Karl-Anthony Towns had the ball high, that they were going to defend him with someone other than Rudy so that they could get a better matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more of that tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of went into this mode where they made Rudy just a statue in the paint, like essentially just like, hey, you're not leaving this area, and the other 4 guys are going to figure out the switch and the matchup. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. And I think if you're the Utah Jazz, you have to decide what you're going to be committed to tonight defensively. Are you going to be committed to taking the 3-ball away? Are you going to be committed to just straight up protecting the rim, not letting them get good looks? That's what my feeling is, because the Suns are not the team that goes out and throws up 53s a night. They can shoot the 3, but there's a lot of paint scoring that they do. So I would think that the Jazz are probably going to load up the paint, and they're going to make the Suns beat them from 3. That would be what I would think would happen.
Yeah, I would guess. I mean, I think the Bojan Bogdanovic matchup is one of the key matchups in this game. I think if you're the Suns, you have to find a way to limit him. And again, I think Saric and Crowder are 2 guys that you would have done that with. They're both out with I think they both have ankle injuries, so they're not going to play tonight either. So I think you're really going to have to be creative in the way that you defend guys. Because the other thing that I think, you can't overlook is that the other end of the floor is a matchup nightmare if you are the Utah Jazz. I mean, you're going to have to essentially play perfect offense. I would imagine that George Niang is going to start in this game again.
Yeah.
Although I think that, too, is an awkward matchup because unlike Sacramento, I think you have guys like Mikal Bridges. I think you have matchups for Niang that you can leverage if you're the Suns. If I'm the Suns, I'm hoping Niang starts. If I'm the Jazz, I don't think you start him tonight. I think you got to find a way to have Clarkson in the starting lineup.
Yeah, that's a that's a risky proposition if you're Quinn Snyder, right? Because what has Clarkson shown us? He's shown us inconsistency when you give him more minutes, and so I think, he did well last game distributing the ball and not being, a black hole, as you always call him, which I think is a very fitting label. But overall, I just think that, yeah, you're going to need a guy like Jordan Clarkson to give you 25 tonight. That's just going to have to happen if you have any hope to win this game. So if that's Clarkson or if that's Bogey or if that's Niang somehow or whatever the case may be, you got to have someone who goes off tonight to keep you in this game. So yeah, I mean, I think your idea of starting Clarkson could be a solution, but my fear with that is that Jordan is not going to give you quality minutes after, late in the game. That's my fear.
Well, I also think that you have to remember that, Torrey Craig's a guy that I think will probably start again in this game. For the Suns, he's seen a lot more starters minutes now. And I think he is the guy that you probably wind up with on Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
I think Frank Kaminsky's probably going to have to play that same significant role off the bench. Because I think he's a perfect matchup in this game. I think he's got 6 fouls to use. And I guess the philosophical question is, if you're the Suns, don't you just let Rudy Gobert have his and everybody else gets theirs? Like, you're going to try and limit Boyan. You're certainly going to try and limit Joe Ingles because I think Joe Ingles is a really important part of the Jazz winning tonight. If they are going to win, which, again, I'm not saying they are, but if the Jazz have any chance to win tonight, I certainly think that Jingles is going to have to play a significant role in that. And I think then you're going to have to get uncommon performances like you were saying. I think that's what's going to have to happen if you're even going to be in this game. Because without Conley and Mitchell and, if Royce O'Neal doesn't play, this is a 20-point loss for the Jazz.
Yeah.
I just don't know. And I don't think I'm exaggerating that. I just don't know how the Jazz stick in this game.
No, I mean, you're legitimately talking about, again, you're legitimately talking about losing a 30-a-night guy in Donovan Mitchell. You're then talking about losing a 20 to 25-point-a-night guy in Conley. And then you're talking about, what is Royce O'Neal worth points-wise with his defense? Probably 10 or 15.
At least.
Holding a team down. So you're that's like 50 points right there, man. That's a lot of points. So yeah, I mean, if he doesn't play, I mean, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that they could potentially lose by 20.
I mean, what is your starting 5? I mean, in Sacramento the other night, it was Royce, Bogey, Niang, Gobert, and Ingles.
Yeah, I like that starting 5. Let's assume that Royce doesn't play and you got to fill that slot. Then yeah, I think it has to be Clarkson. I think it does.
I actually think they would start Ilyasova.
Yeah.
If Royce doesn't play, I think they're going to start Ilyasova, who, by the way, again,
he could handle DeAndre.
I think this is why you play. This is why you signed him.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, if Ilyasova is on DeAndre, there's no matchup for Rudy Gobert.
Right.
I mean, there's not. This is going to be good. The starting 5 that you see tonight is going to be really interesting because I think you have options if you're Quinn Snyder. The question is, do you have any depth? I mean, how many guys are you going to play tonight? You're certainly going to see the Morgans, the Brantleys. I guess Hughes is not going to play tonight. He's got a personal issue.
I would think that Matt Thomas would get some minutes tonight. He got some minutes the other night.
Have to.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on the matchup, you're playing guys that you don't normally play, and you're relying on guys that you haven't been able to rely on.
When you're only up by, one game. This is why I say, if you're a Jazz fan, don't be, as much as we've criticized Mike Conley today, don't be mad at Mike Conley. I mean, this is who he's always been. This is nothing new for Mike Conley. You should be mad at the front office of the Utah Jazz right now for not solidifying this roster. I mean, that's why you're in this position. So, that's just what it is.
Yeah, Big T fan. There's a fan of Thurl Bailey. Big T fan says, I don't understand the hate on Mike Conley. He's been rock solid for us.
Yeah, when he's been on the floor. We just said, how is this confusing? So we just said.
That's remarkable.
We just said, hey, he's a quality player when he's on the floor. The issue is he's not on the floor enough. I mean, again, let's repeat ourselves again. This is the biggest game of the year if you're the Utah Jazz. You're up by 1 game in the West. The Clippers, what are the Clippers? I think they're 2 or 2.5 games back. You lose tonight. The Clippers and the Suns win tonight. Now you're talking about not only being down to the Suns, the Clippers are sneaking into the picture a little bit here. So this is
Suns
a big
are 1,
deal.
Clippers are 3. You lose tonight, and there's a chance you're the 3rd seed.
It's a big deal, dude. That totally changes the playoff picture. I mean, legit, you're talking about. I hope people understand this. If you go from being the 1 seed to the 3 seed, you're talking about playing one of the worst teams in the league in the first round versus playing the Lakers in the first round.
Yeah.
Exactly what does that look like if you're playing LeBron and AD in the first round? Because I'm telling you right now, you're not beating that team. That ain't happening.
Yeah. By the way, it has been 10 years since Mike Conley played 80 games.
Dude.
Last year, okay, shortened season, he played 47 games. This year, he's only played 49 games. 2018, 2019, he played 17 games. 17, 18, 12 games, 69, 56, 70, 73.
I mean, the guy never rarely touches 70.
Mike Conley is not a guy that you can rely on to be there because he just isn't healthy. Like, I'm not trying to hate on the guy. He just is not a guy you can count on. James Knight says, I think you're overstating Phoenix. They're not that good.
Boy.
I think the question about Phoenix is, are they the best team in the NBA right now?
Dude.
The way they're playing, I think they are that good.
Dude, James, with all due respect, I love you, bro, but you don't watch enough Suns basketball if you think that they're not good.
But wait, we have a case of 4X gold on the line tonight, don't we?
I don't know, James, do we?
I think James.
I mean, I know we talked about it, but did we commit to it?
James is the one who threw that out there.
James, do we get a case for every 10 points the Jazz lose by tonight?
I think we do.
So is that going to be 2 cases, or what are we talking about, bro?
James, DHL ships direct to the United States.
Hey, let's go.
My man. Sakshay Jazz, good morning to you, buddy. Says Jazz will surprise the Suns to start the game, but will ultimately lose by 10. Ilyasova is very underrated as a defender. He's never shy physically.
Agree with that
right.
completely.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Sakshay. And I think that's why he has to play tonight, because I think if you look at how the Suns have won and how they've played, just watching the Clipper game the other night, there were a lot of elbows and forearms that the Suns deployed in that game. And the real issue is you can have the Suns down, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, Booker and Chris Paul start making clutch shots. And it's really difficult to react to that.
Yeah.
The Suns are a team that knows how to close games. CP3 has taught them that. And my question is, without your 2 best players, I don't know that you should even expect to win in Phoenix. But then if Royce O'Neal doesn't play, which I have to think he will, but if Royce O'Neal doesn't play, I don't see any way you win this game.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to James, I just think the Suns are very good. They're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think, if you look at who the Jazz are staring down the barrel at in the playoffs, you're going to go up against some really good defensive teams. And if you come out against the Lakers are the best defensive team in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I think that's something for you to consider. Again, and the question that we've asked 1,000 times on this show is, why haven't you subscribed to us on YouTube to win this Xbox Series S? I don't get it. See what we did there? Go ahead and hit subscribe right now. And if you're watching this video, give us a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. So give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, take a picture, tag The Monty Show, MONTY The Monty Show, and SLC Supercars on Twitter. And then you're entered to win this Xbox, which we're hoping to give away on Monday.
We're
hoping to give it away on Monday.
What'd you say, 34
466.
Yeah.
We are only 34 to go.
Let's go.
But my point is, the question we've asked, do the Utah Jazz need home court advantage to win an NBA championship? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
They are dominant at home. They are good, not great on the road. And I think the formula that is being deployed to beat them, which is athletic wings that get into the paint, and bigs that shoot threes, that's all over the Western Conference. They need home court advantage to win a championship. They just do. Forgotten Souls says smooth. I know.
I'm glad people are giving you credit. That was really good, bro. I mean, that was like,
Professional
That
broadcaster.
was well done.
Sean Miersinski says, I don't think they're so. I don't think so. They're just being honest. They're without Conley and Mitchell. Yeah. And if you lose, take the two best players off the Suns, Booker and CP3.
They're trash. They're
not
not
a playoff
good, dude.
team.
They're not good.
Take 2 of the 3 out of Brooklyn.
Bro, look at the Lakers. That's all you got to look at.
Yes.
Look at the Lakers. That's all you have to look at, man. That's it. And that's why I'm saying, like, this Conley conversation that we've been having, it isn't even a criticism of Mike Conley. Like, yes, it is, but my point is that this isn't about Mike. Mike over his career has been hurt. Mike over his career, as you were just pointing out and reading those games played and how he hasn't touched 70 games in a long, long time, this isn't about Mike Conley. This conversation right here, if you're a Jazz fan, the brass tacks of it is that the front office isn't getting it done. That is the truth of the matter. How is it, again, that the Nuggets went and got Aaron Gordon, the Lakers went and got Ben McLemore? If you don't know who Ben McLemore is, you might want to pay attention. He's shooting the 3 ball at a really high rate, and he's getting a bigger role with them. How is it that the Brooklyn Nets went and got Mike James from overseas? If you don't know Mike James, he played in the league with the Suns, bona fide scorer, really experienced player. Jazz could have totally used him, especially in a game like this one tonight. So my point is that this is a front office issue. This isn't a, hey, wow, we're surprised Mike Conley's getting hurt, because he's always gotten hurt. You're foolish if you signed him thinking he wasn't going to get hurt.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah, totally agree. It's not hate. And this is a thing that we try to say this, I feel like, every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hate. If we were hating, we would just be, throwing out ridiculous takes about why the Jazz suck. The Jazz don't suck. The question that we're asking is, are the Jazz elite? Are they the best team in the NBA? Not right now, they're not. When they play, when everybody's healthy and they're at the top of their game,
yeah,
they're in the conversation, but they're not as good as the Lakers, and they're not as good as the Nets. Everybody else, I think there's legit reason to believe that the Suns and the Jazz are very close. If everybody's healthy and they're both playing their best basketball, I think the Jazz are probably a tick better.
The first game showed us what a healthy matchup looks like. I mean, yeah, the Suns edged them out, but that was a very close game.
That's one shot here or there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what elite NBA basketball is about. One possession here, one possession there. Who executes better? Who makes their free throws?
There's not a huge talent gap at the top of any sport, and the Jazz are certainly at the top of the NBA. They are there with what I think is Brooklyn, Philly, the Lakers, Denver, the Clippers, the Jazz, the Suns.
Yeah.
They're in that group, but not when you're injured. And right now, I mean, everybody's got injuries. Crowder and Sarge are huge players for the Suns. The difference is the formational building block guys, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, are both injured. You look at Devin Booker and CP3, they're playing. Booker's finally had a year where he's played 90-95% of the games. Knock on wood, he hasn't had that huge injury this year. And what's happening? They're competing to be the number 1 team in the Western Conference.
Yep.
Whereas the Lakers have fallen off because of injury. The Nuggets have not fallen off. They just haven't risen because of injury. The Clippers, injuries. You look at the Brooklyn Nets, injuries. And look at Philly. Philly's largely been healthy with Joel and Simmons. Now they've missed some games and some load management has happened. But they're at the top of the East because they've largely been healthy.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. And Mike Conley, to bring this point around, Mike Conley's not a guy that you can believe is going to be there every night because he's not there every night. That's the biggest issue. Niall Gardner says, I moved to Phoenix from SLC 2 years ago. I watch all Jazz and Suns games. Suns are that good. Niall, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
I'm with you. By the way, I don't miss the heat of the Valley.
No.
We moved from Phoenix to to Daybreak for that exact reason.
Yes, and this morning when it was 52 degrees out and the birds were chirping, yeah.
Beautiful morning.
Amazing.
Beautiful morning. Ian says, didn't the Jazz just lose back-to-back to the T-Wolves? They did, and a lot of that's injury. Mm-hmm. A lot of that is in the second game. Mike Conley was fantastic. They still lost.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, they didn't lose back-to-back. They got swept all 3 by the Timberwolves this year.
It's amazing.
Because the Timberwolves are young and athletic. They attack the rim. And they have bigs that can actually play.
And I feel like those lessons aren't being learned by the vast majority of people who cover the Jazz. Like, I haven't seen a lot of people, talk about the fact that the Jazz struggle with the style that the Timberwolves play. Whether that style is what they struggle with. You can pick whatever team you want, but that's the style that really torches them. And I think that now again, as you've said many times, even today, and we've talked about this a ton over the course of the NBA season. There's a formula to beat the Jazz now, and that formula exists because of the limitations of players on this roster, named Rudy Gobert and otherwise. And so that's why I say this team, unlike other teams in the West, cannot absorb injuries. They're not built to absorb the loss of Jamal Murray and still be the number 4 seed in the West. I mean, they just can't. And so tonight, my biggest thing here and the biggest issue I have overall is not even that Mike Conley's hurt tonight. My biggest issue is that this team was built on the premise of Mike Conley being healthy, and that's a mistake right there. You lost the game before you even stepped on the court.
That's right.
Because you invested in a player that's not reliable. And so now you're playing the biggest game of the year without your 2 best players. How is that a reality if you're this Utah Jazz team?
Yeah, I agree with that. And James Knight's not going to let this go. He says, didn't Phoenix get smoked by the Spurs recently? Well, what was that, 2 weeks ago, right before that long road trip out east?
Mm-hmm.
And that I actually think the game was at home in Phoenix. They did. Is one loss to the Spurs the differentiating factor? The Jazz got swept by the T-Wolves. That doesn't mean the T-Wolves are a better team.
By the way, James, you might want to check yourself. The Spurs are coming for the Jazz this coming week. You've got the Suns. You've then got the Raptors. Yeah. Then you've got the Spurs. Then you have Denver. So that's the last part of this conversation after this game tonight. You're going to lose tonight, in my opinion. You're gonna lose to Toronto, in my opinion. And then you definitely have to beat San Antonio both times. And then you've got Denver. So the question is, when the hell is Donovan Mitchell coming back? When? We need it desperately.
Yeah, my wife's got a Hawaiian shirt on. It's Hawaiian Shirt Friday, apparently. That brings me back to our trip to the Big Island. Anyway, I think every team loses games like the Suns lost to the Spurs. I don't think it's any kind of measure as to what kind of team they are. Because when you go out east and you lose, to Brooklyn, and then you turn around back-to-back and you go and beat the Knicks, who were the hottest team in the NBA at that point, I think that says a lot about your character. And I think to fight through that road trip says all you need to know about the Suns. And now you're in position to have, to take over the number 1 spot in the West with 2 weeks, 3 weeks left in the season.
Not long.
I mean, James, look, I love you, dude. I respect your opinion, but I just think you're overvaluing the Jazz and you're trying to knock the Suns to prop up the Jazz. And I just wouldn't do it. Not right now. Not right now. I would love to see them in a 7-game series, both healthy.
Yes.
I mean, that would be an unbelievable series.
Basketball fans deserve that.
Yeah. But again, I just want to make sure before we switch gears here, I just want to make sure I think the Jazz are going to take the number 1 seed in the West. I think the Suns' schedule, and I'll just read it to you again. Utah at home tonight, at OKC, at Cleveland, at Atlanta. They're losing one of those games. They're going to. You can't play this high of look at where they've come from. At Brooklyn, at Philly, at Boston, at Brooklyn. At Milwaukee, at Philly, at Boston, at Brooklyn, at the Knicks. They lost back-to-back to Boston and Brooklyn on that trip. Home for the Clippers. Mm-hmm. Look how much emotion and energy that stretch of games took. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to play the Jazz for the number 1 spot in the West. Mm-hmm. You're going to fall off. I guarantee you're going to lose to OKC or Cleveland. I mean, and maybe they won't. Maybe they're an elite team that's a badass, and Chris Paul has them thinking right, and Monty Williams has tuned the Suns up.
I think that the 3 of them have this team in a great spot. Monty Williams, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker. Those 3 are the core of that team, and everybody else follows them. I agree with you. I'm not sitting here saying that this is some cakewalk of a schedule for the Suns, because it's absolutely not. It's a difficult schedule. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
But my main thing here and why I do believe that they're going to get through that schedule and they're going to do well with it is because this version of the Suns team has been in existence since they went 8-0 in the bubble and didn't get the credit that they deserved. And I just think that they're on a mission, dude. They're on a mission to A, get to the postseason, which they've done. They've clinched their spot. But now, I think if you're the Suns, you're out proving a point that, hey, we're here, we're a problem, and we don't care who it is on any given night because again, I know I keep saying they're battle-tested, but the reason I use that terminology is because they've been through the adversity already. There's not much more adversity that they can see the rest of this year that they haven't seen already. And that's why I'm saying when you have, we're essentially sitting here questioning, are they going to have a letdown game against OKC or Cleveland or any of these bad teams? Is it possible? Absolutely. Will it happen this time of year with a Monty Williams-led team and a Chris Paul-led team? I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I think they're going to do well.
Jake, Ty wants to ask you a question.
Here comes a slurping reference. Can almost guarantee
No,
it.
no slurping reference.
Okay.
He says if you're so down on Mike Conley and you don't respect him, give me the better point guards in the NBA.
Better than Mike Conley?
Yeah, because his point is, and it's kind of a long message, but he basically says that Mike Conley's still an elite point guard in the NBA.
He's not. He's not an elite point guard in the NBA. He's a quality player. Steph Curry's better. Damian Lillard's better. Kyrie Irving's better. I would say that guys who are on his level, let me think. I would say that
Chris Paul or Mike Conley?
Chris Paul because
By far.
Chris Paul because he's more of a floor general and he's more of a leader, but you can't say that Chris Paul has been healthier.
Chris Paul is a killer.
He is a killer. Yes, he is a killer, but from a health standpoint, they're the same guy. Chris Paul got injured against the Warriors, and that's essentially where the Houston Rockets died.
Okay,
you know what
Chris
I mean?
Paul got injured in the postseason.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Mike Conley isn't ever totally healthy to play on a regular basis.
I think that Mike Conley, here's the difference. This is the best way I can say it. Mike Conley is a great supporting point guard. He is not an alpha dog point guard.
I would agree with that.
Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving. I mean, the list goes on. There's a ton of great point guards in this league. But those guys are alpha dogs. Mike Conley is not that guy. He is a second tier player compared to the A player.
Yeah, and I think Chris Paul. I would take Chris Paul over Mike Conley.
And again,
I don't know how many guys would take. I don't know many people that would take Conley over Paul.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Lakers have Dennis Schroeder, I'm probably taking Dennis Schroeder. It's close.
Right here today. I mean, it's close. Yeah.
Schroeder's quicker. I think Schroeder's defense is vastly underrated. I think it's really close. I think Mike Conley's is got that clutch gene.
Here's the thing with Mike Conley, and this is what Jazz fans don't want to hear, so I'm sorry that this is going to piss you off, but Mike Conley is living on legacy, not what he's doing today. That's how I honestly feel about Mike Conley. Mike Conley is living on a great career, which he's definitely had. He's had a great career, an injury-prone career, but a great career, and I think right now, Jazz fans don't want to talk about the fact that they could have had a better point guard. They could have went a different route and had a more reliable option because the fact is that again, I know I keep referencing guys like, a Mike James or like any of these guys who are serviceable point guards.
Yes.
I don't need Mike Conley to give me 25 a night. I would much rather have a guy who I know is going to play 80 games a year at the position feeding Donovan every night who can give me 15 and like 8 or 9 assists. That's all I need out of you, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
Williams says that Conley's better than Ricky Rubio.
Yes, he is.
Dude,
that's not even a fair comparison.
You're better than Ricky Rubio, Jake.
That's not even a fair. But I think for Jazz, but see, this is the thing though. That's not a ridiculous take because Jazz fans suffered through the Ricky Rubio years, bro.
JC says Conley's having a good season, much better than Rubio. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I with all due respect, I don't think that comparing Mike Conley to Ricky Rubio is fair. I think Ty is trying to say that Mike Conley is on par with the best point guards in the league, and he's not. I'm just telling you, he's not. That's just not who he is anymore.
You know what? I think one of the things that you got to talk about here is the overall game. And now, there are like 4 or 5 comments that say I'm crazy on Dennis Schroeder, but I'm telling you, Dennis Schroeder is a guy that's giving you 15 points a night right now. He's giving you 6 assists. He's a good rebounder. He shoots 34% from 3. He shoots 47% from the floor. He's healthy. He plays, he is a guy that plays a fast, physical brand of basketball.
And he's smart.
And he stays healthy. I think he understands how to adapt. Now, I think the Jazz are asking Mike Conley to do too much.
Yeah. And everybody else.
But that Mike Conley's a left-handed basketball player. That right-handed bank shot in Minneapolis the other night was spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-ball to give them the lead was spectacular. Mike Conley did everything you could want him to do. Oh, and then it was too much and he got hurt.
Mm-hmm. And so
that's the problem.
The comparison shouldn't be, so comparing Mike Conley, we shouldn't be comparing him to Steph or like the elite point guards in the league, because that's not who he is. We should be comparing him to guys like, a CJ McCollum.
But this is why I bring up Dennis Schroeder, because Dennis Schroeder's not a guy that has to score for the Lakers to win. It's nice when he does, and he gives them big performances. His defense is the most valuable chip to Dennis Schroeder.
Would you rather have Mike Conley or Fred VanVleet?
Oh, man.
Would you rather have Mike Conley or Kyle Lowry?
I think I would. Kyle Lowry for sure. He's battle tested. He's a championship player.
Kyle Lowry is the same guy that Mike Conley is. He's just healthy.
VanVleet is a man.
So I'm saying.
VanVleet's a tough one. VanVleet's a badass.
Yeah,
he is but he's banged up all the time like Conley. But VanVleet is a guy that you don't want to go against.
No,
you don't.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
man, that's close, dude.
That's what I'm saying. There are other options that I think Jazz fans aren't considering that you could potentially get done.
Forgotten Soul says I don't get a bit angry very often, but Dennis Schroeder over Conley. Yeah, but that's go look at it. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Dennis Schroeder's the guy that the Lakers need because he doesn't care if he's in the headlines.
Let me ask you guys a question. The listeners, the people in the comments that listen every single day. When is the last time we said something that was outlandish or that was ridiculous and just completely off the reservation?
And wrong.
When was the last time that we brought you a Jazz take that was wrong or just asinine? We don't give you asinine takes. Go look at the stats. You will see that they are actually closer than you think they are. And by the way, again, the stat that needs to be considered here is games played, availability. That's what you need to be looking at. And I'm just telling you guys, like, again, like a guy like Kemba Walker, again, a guy like, certainly not today, but I think Rajon Rondo 5 years ago, you could have compared these two. They're very similar players. Like I just think that Mike Conley,
Mike Conley shoots the 3-ball at an elite level.
Yeah,
that is what his edge is on most other second tier players. And I agree with you. You can't compare him to Steph. Steph's a superstar. He's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
At this point of his career, Mike Conley, you can see that he has the ability to carry a team for like a couple of quarters, but it becomes too much. And I agree with James Knight, who says Mike is 33 years of age, a history of hamstring injuries, load management is smart.
Yeah,
no point limping into the playoffs. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But he's not load managing right now. He's hurt. He cannot play, and they need him. This is their big. This could be the Alamo. This could be the watershed moment for the Utah Jazz. If they lose tonight, and that seems probable now, if they lose tonight, are they ever in sole possession of first place in the West again? I think they will be based on the schedule. But now you got to go and earn it. And instead of assuming, which you've assumed, now you have to go and earn it.
After everything you did in the first half.
And this is why when you lose badly to teams like Minnesota, and you look back and you're like, damn, how did we not win, home court advantage? Well, because you got swept by Minnesota.
Yeah.
And when you go back up and down this schedule and you look at the Charlotte game and you look at games where, damn, bro, we just did not play good basketball.
You bitched about the officiating in the Philly game instead of winning the actual game. You didn't beat the Clippers when you should have, when you were a healthy team. I think that the way it really needs to be said is, if you don't win the 1 seed, everything you did in the first half is for naught. Who gives a damn? Great, you were the best team in the first half, but then you sputtered in the second half, and
the worst part of it is, I think they're the best team in the Western Conference.
I do too. When they're healthy, but you're asking Mike Conley to play 80 games, dog. Like, that's not smart. That's stupid. That is not a good strategy. Why would you do that? Like, you wouldn't. Like, this Donovan thing, At some point, we got to get an update on Donovan Mitchell. Like this team, the real issue here is if Don was playing, this Mike Conley issue wouldn't even be an issue because Don has the ability to cover up for Conley's lack of reliability. They can get it done. This team, the rest of these guys on this squad can get it done without Conley. The problem is Donovan Mitchell's out, and so Royce O'Neal takes more of a beating. Bogey takes more of a beating.
That game, that game that's going to come back to get you? That load management game against the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game that's going to, right now, that's
that was a national game, too.
Yeah, that's a Saturday afternoon game, and you chose to load manage, and you lost 127-115 in overtime. That's the kind of game that comes back and just kicks you right in the onions.
Dude, you played an overtime game on a load management night. Like, come on.
You should have won that game. You should, and this is why when I say, hey, if they don't win a championship or if they get knocked out early in the playoffs, I'm looking right at Quinn Snyder. And I'm not saying to fire the guy, but at what point, the guy's been there like 20 years now. At what point, I think it's 7, at what point do you say to Quinn Snyder, hey, here are the expectations and the bar we got to meet. It's time to stop being a mediocre, average organization.
But that's their mindset,
It is, and it is. And you have a new owner in Ryan Smith. It's time to do things differently. Let's stop doing things as the Utah Jazz the same way we've always done them. Let's stop doing that because it's not working.
It's clearly. I mean, they've made progress, but ultimately the goal is to win a championship. That frankly, if we're being really honest, Jazz fans deserve a championship. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. They have suffered for a long time.
Ian wants to know, have you guys watched Murder Among Mormons on Netflix?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we have. Nobody should be setting bombs. Please don't suggest that. Sakshay Jazz says swept by the Wizards as well. I mean, I can look at a bunch of games where it's like, here's why you don't have home court advantage.
Dude, you're talking about 10 games that you potentially should have won. Like, you can't say you should have won the Philly game or the Clipper game or any of these hotly contested games, right? Like you can't, like Philly, Clippers, the Suns game certainly, the 2 weeks ago or whenever that was. Those 3 games, okay, we're not throwing that in this conversation. But yeah, the Wizards, the Wolves, any of these games, that Laker game you were just referencing, those are games that this team should have won, and now they're paying the price. And that's like 5, 6, 7, 8 games where you could have like a 3 or 4 game pad right now when both of your best players are out, but you don't. And tonight you're giving up your lead.
Yeah, and I think, it'll be interesting to see. Brandon White says Wizards are good. Wizards are better than their record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still surprised they didn't trade Bradley Beal at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
But, good point, Brandon. Cody Strickland. Just join in on this video. We have different opinions and views, but I still enjoy listening to you guys. And right now, a better look is second seat than it is for first, but a good matchup. Well, I think the reason you want that number 1 seed is the Jazz are almost bulletproof at home, unless you're Minnesota. The Jazz are almost bulletproof at home. Like the Utah Jazz at Vivint in a tight game. I mean. Home court advantage means everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jazz are an elite basketball team who are even a notch higher than elite at home. When you have, and you're going to get Donovan back next week. I would think you would have Mike Conley back. I would hope for the Toronto game Saturday night.
He says this whole hamstring thing isn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be. Then I'm saying, okay, great, come back. Then why aren't you playing tonight? That's
like, amazing.
Yeah.
I think you need the number 1 seed if the Jazz are going to win a championship. That's just my opinion.
I agree with that. I think that you don't want to. Here's what can't happen. This is what's unacceptable. Okay, what's unacceptable is, let's say you lose tonight, which I do think they're going to lose, but hey, maybe crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
So you lose tonight, right? And then you're going to see Toronto, which I potentially think is another loss. And my thing here is that if you go, let's say that you, right now, the next 6 games, you lose 4 of those games. Let's just say that happens. You lose to Phoenix, you lose to Toronto, and then you lose the Denver game, which is coming up a week from now, after you play 2 with San Antonio. So let's say you lose 3 of your next 5. Okay, let's say the Clippers and the Suns win out in that time. Now you're talking about potentially being a 3 seed. That is entirely unacceptable. And I think everybody would agree with that. You cannot be a 3 seed playing a 6 seed in the Lakers.
Let's just assume the playoffs started today.
Yeah.
And let's go top 8 in the West.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Spurs and Warriors are out. They're 9 and 10.
Okay.
The 1 seed right now would be the Utah Jazz versus the Memphis Grizzlies in a 1-8 matchup.
Jazz would win that.
Okay, let's bump the Jazz down to 2nd seed. Right now, it would be Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers.
I think the Jazz win, but I think that's a grind.
Are you really telling me that we don't need the number 1 seed? I mean, are you serious? I mean, look, if they bump down to 3, the 3-6 matchup.
Oh boy.
Would be the Utah Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks.
And it's going to go into crisis lockdown mode here at the house.
Dude,
yeah,
you're
I
in
want
trouble,
nothing
dog.
to do
You're
with
in
the
trouble.
Dallas Mavericks.
Dude.
I want nothing to do with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
I mean, that team, I don't know how Luka does it with that fat ass of his. I don't know. Him and his hot mom just find ways to win games. I probably shouldn't say that anymore. She's hot. What do you want from me?
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome. Go look up Luka's mom. She's hot.
Just Google search Luka's mom.
But right now, the 4-5 would be the Nuggets and the Lakers.
Dude.
That'd be all right. That'd be all right. My point is, yes, you need home court advantage.
Yes.
I would much rather have the Grizzlies than the Blazers.
Yeah.
Because Logo Dame,
Melo, CJ McCallum, like
that
you got a
team's
bunch of
a
dudes
hell
on
of a
that
lot
team,
more
dude.
difficult.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot more difficult. Swiderski says home games need spot 1. Yes. Cody back in says, yes, I agree. Home court advantage is good, but assume the Lakers take out the Suns. We still have home court for the rest of the playoffs. Well, you're hoping at that point instead of actually doing.
Yeah, you want to solidify
with all due
it,
respect.
dude. Yeah.
Swiderski also says Utah has a better schedule than Phoenix by far.
They do.
That's why I'm saying, even if the Jazz, when they lose tonight, because it's not if, it's when, I think the Jazz are still going to win the West. That's just my opinion. Dame is playing injured, always.
But let's not just skate over that. Again, that's hugely important.
Yes.
He is the best player on their team, and he's playing injured to ensure that they get into the postseason.
Always playing injured.
Always, dude. And by the way, you wouldn't know it because the guy is so damn clutch that when nobody talks about the fact that he's hurt. So that's why I say, like, this gene of having the clutch gene is one thing, but having the clutch gene and the ability to play through injury and
by
still
the way,
do it.
CJ McCallum is always hurt and
Yeah.
misses big swaths of games.
Yeah,
and
Dame
who carries them?
Dame, dude. It just, yeah.
Forgotten Soul says, dang, his mom is hot. I told you.
We tried to tell it.
I was
See,
just trying to help.
listen, whether it's the Jazz, the draft, Luka's mom, the Xbox, dude, we're giving you guys good stuff here. Come on.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hit the subscribe button already. Let's go.
Go ahead and hit subscribe because we want to give this Xbox away. And we'd like to do that Monday. We're 34 away. By the way, our newest subscriber, while I open up my Twitter, Wyatt Ziegenhorn. Wyatt Ziegenhorn, come on down.
Can we just call him Ziggenhorn?
Wait, Ziggy?
Ziggy or Ziggenhorn? That's a badass name.
Ziegenhorn is a badass name.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Ziegenhorn. Appreciate you being here. You are now entered to win the Xbox, which we'd like to give away on Monday, but we got to be at 500 subscribers, so go ahead and give us a thumbs up, by the way. Please give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate you being here. Okay, keep the Jazz comments coming. We will get back to that. I do want to switch gears, talk NFL draft. We've got to get into this Aaron Rodgers thing. Anybody, please explain to me what the Green Bay Packers are doing.
And shit, damn, I am tripping.
They are tripping.
They are, dude.
Aaron Rodgers is an a-hole. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. His parents and his family hate him. All of his exes hate him. Like, Aaron Rodgers is not a nice guy.
Right.
Okay? He's a hell of a quarterback. A reigning MVP. So here's the story if you didn't hear it. It came out last night that Aaron Rodgers, because this is from ESPN's Adam Schefter, says that Aaron Rodgers no longer wants to be a Green Bay Packer and he will not play for them. All of this because, I think they drafted Jordan Love, which pissed him off. But then he sent his agent this offseason to Green Bay in hopes of getting a contract extension done. Unfortunately, Packers had other opinions, like, hey, we're not going to extend you. We actually want to restructure, which means we're going to pay you differently over a longer amount of time. Maybe we'll give you some more up front, but we're not going to commit to you in a longer term. His agent left Green Bay after a few days, and then Aaron Rodgers let them know, oh, no extension? Okay, I'm out. Trade me.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers was like, okay, cool, let's do an extension. And Aaron Rodgers was like, no, I'm hanging out with Luca's hot mom, and I don't give a Baker's fuck what you want at this point because I'm not doing an extension. I want out of Green Bay. And as a Chicago Bears fan, my simple opinion is I hate the Green Bay Packers. And my simple question is, Jake, how do you screw it up with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, the word is that they just told him, like, this also goes back to when Aaron Rodgers had that whole drama about wanting input on the draft and, like, the personnel decisions and that whole conversation. And apparently this whole thing, yeah, when they drafted Jordan Love, but this whole thing was born out of them apparently having an employee mentality with him. Like, hey, you just work here, you don't have a say, that kind of a deal. And quarterbacks on his level don't really appreciate that, whether it's him, Russell Wilson, or otherwise. So how did they mess it up? Well, it's really simple. I mean, they were just arrogant about it, and they didn't value his opinion. And for the life of me, I'll never understand this, because this is what's happening in Seattle, too. How hard is it to say, okay, yeah, why don't you come in, give us your thoughts, we'd love your input, and then tell him to flip him the bird. Get the hell out of here. We're not going to do what he says. Well, let's just hear him out to keep him happy.
Placate.
We're just going to draft who we want.
Placate him.
How hard?
It's what we all do to our wives and girlfriends. Like, oh, you want to paint the room pink? Okay, yeah, cool. Handy, blowy. All right, cool. Now you can paint it pink. Anyway, the point is, it's a joke. I'm kidding. That was terrible. I should probably...
Dude.
Here's the game plan.
I'm going to seek divorce help now. Anyway, the point is, I just don't understand how you undervalue a guy like Aaron Rodgers. You can hate, yeah. My wife literally in the background right now is saying that I made a mistake not getting a prenup. I don't
Here's what's going to
understand.
happen, Tonto.
Yeah, look, Tonto. My point is, I don't understand how teams like the Green Bay Packers put themselves before Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with Bart Starr. They kicked him to the curb. They did it with Brett Favre. That divorce was nasty. And now they're going to do it with Aaron Rodgers. And my point is, whether it's the Green Bay Packers, the Seattle Seahawks, the San Diego Whales Vagina LA Chargers with Phillip Rivers, these nasty divorces with quarterbacks never end well for the franchise. Because quarterbacks are always going to get paid in this league. The Denver Broncos are champing at the bit to get Aaron Rodgers. And that was the rumor last night that they were trying to get him. Here's my other question. Now their GM goes on TV last night and he's like, wow, we're the Green Bay flipping Packers. We're not trading Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
I doubt that.
Yeah, watch me. Watch me not play for you. Because Aaron Rodgers doesn't need the Green Bay Packers. He's made a ton of money. He's got the Jeopardy host. And yes, I loved all the memes that said that Aaron Rodgers' future in Green Bay is in jeopardy. He hosted.
See what they did there? It was the connection. It all kind of fits together.
And stuff. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't want to play another game in Green Bay, and I'm not saying that he won't or he will, if he doesn't want to play another game in Green Bay, he doesn't have to.
Because it's all part of the plan.
And if you learned anything in Green Bay from the crappy Chicago Bears, Meyer and we, the monsters of the Midway, who have never, not once, had a franchise quarterback. Not once.
But Jay Cutler.
Stop.
But Rex Grossman.
Bob Avellini.
But Mitch.
Mitchell. Maserati Mitch. Oh, you mean the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. They've never, not one time, had even the best quarterback in the NFL. Even one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Never, not once. And this is a team that last night traded up again because they've done so well trading up for quarterbacks. They trade up again to draft Justin Fields. Great move. I think it's a phenomenal move from IR and we, the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields did not look excited to be there. Now, I think part of that was that he thought he was going to be drafted way higher. And then he goes to the Chicago Bears. And you're like, well, okay, fiddlesticks. I mean, I'm no Mike Tomczak, but hopefully I can make the team. Right? Like, if you're Justin Fields, you're justified in not being excited, frankly.
Wait, Mike Tomczak?
Do you even know who that is?
No.
Exactly right.
No.
Exactly
It's
right.
my quarterback.
He's no Eric Kramer. Do you know who Eric Kramer is?
Nope.
Didn't think so. My point is, He's no Rick Meyer.
Who?
Exactly. But my point is, Justin Fields is the best quarterback talent that the Chicago Bears have had probably in a decade.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find a way to screw it up. They will. Because I think Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, they're on the clock. They know that they have to win 10 games and they have to make the playoffs. And if Aaron Rodgers somehow Danica Patrick's the Green Bay Packers and breaks up with them,
dude.
If Aaron Rodgers somehow treats the Packers as he has his family and never wants to talk to them again, that's a true story. The Bears should be in the driver's seat in that division.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a quarterback who can legitimately change the game in Nick Foles. And
wow.
Nothing?
Wow.
Where's Tricky T when I need him?
Wow.
The point is, you've got a quarterback in Justin Fields now. You've got the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. You've got Nick Foles, and you've got Justin Fields. My hope is you have a quarterback competition and you go with Justin Fields, because I don't want Andy Dalton and his red hair in his nether regions to be my starting quarterback.
Hey, look here, man.
You probably didn't need to know that. Fat Jesus says, I blame Shailene Woodley, the new Yoko.
Okay, it's not Shalane. It's Shailene, please.
Excuse me. She's divergent, apparently. She's the actress that is currently twerking on Aaron Rodgers at night.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
Olivia Munn wasn't good enough. Danica Patrick looks like a boy. And now he went with Shailene. What? It is what it is. My wife is literally yelping divorce attorneys.
Dude.
Danica Patrick's not. Okay. What I meant to say was... she's a race car driver. She's got very little body.
Motherfucking,
Danica's got very little body fat and stuff.
It is what it is.
Anyway, the point is that Aaron Rodgers is going to end this relationship badly, like he does every relationship in his life. That's how guys are, right? He's probably going to do what you did, which is text the Packers that it's over. But
what now?
Let me tell you what now. And then he's going to go play for horseface John Elway, and all is good in the world. Casey Finland says, don't discount QB1 Andy Dalton. Casey,
please.
Don't start with me. He's no Zach Wilson. We get it. Sean Mirzinski says, congratulations, you got one now. Well, you know what? I hope you're right. He also says Aaron's going to Denver. Just watch. That's the reason they didn't draft a QB. Could be. Could absolutely be. Trevor says, man, Monty, you're on one today.
It's the Fridays, bro.
It's Friday, and I'm ready to sleep till like noon tomorrow, which means I'll wake up by 6:30 because I'm old, and nighttime pee guy doesn't let me sleep late. I just think that this situation, in all seriousness, value quarterbacks in this league. I don't understand how Drew Brees was ever a New Orleans Saint. If you look around the league at quarterbacks who've changed teams, it's over and over and over again, where that quarterback goes to a new situation and thrives and does much better. Aaron Rodgers is not done by a stretch. And if he goes to Denver all of a sudden becomes a team that's going to push the Chiefs in the AFC West.
But there's some quarterback in Tampa who switched teams.
Tom Brady, what did he do? Won a Super Bowl.
Just saying.
You have to value that quarterback relationship. It's more important than the head coach. It's more important than the best defensive player on your team. If you're Bob Kraft, it's more important than the relationship that puts you in a rub and tug massage parlor. There was no checkbox on the affidavit. You can't charge me with nothing. Shit. The point is, welcome to the Monty Show. The point is, I just am shocked that the Packers are doing this, and I'm elated. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, it's completely enjoyable.
I mean, screw the Packers. If they never win another game, it'll be too many wins. I hate the Green Bay Packers. I hate all those cheeseheads. I hate their uniforms. I hate Lambeau Field. It's stupid that you have share stockholders who have no impact on the team. Screw you, Green Bay. And Aaron, there's a place for you No, I don't want Aaron Rodgers on the Bears. I don't.
No.
I don't. Now, if he wants to go to the 49ers, fine. I hate them too. I can hate equally. If he wants to go to the Rams, that'd be disappointing. The Rams supposedly made a real push to get him. Because I'm turning into a closeted Rams fan. They're fun to watch. I can't openly admit that I like the Rams because it's too cliche. Like, oh, we're back in L.A. Sean McDermott's got pecs. And
Let's
like,
consult the douche meter.
Yeah, like that would just be that'd be Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. Like, it's just not something I can do.
Yeah. I get it. You don't want to get on the slurping train. I understand.
Yeah, totally. Sean Mierzinski says the Chargers getting Slater was a win. Thank you, Cincinnati and Miami. Absolutely.
Yes.
How did Slater fall into the Chargers? That to me is that I don't understand at all. Brandon Whiteside says, "What is up with the Raiders? Always,
Raiders gonna raid."
Mike Mayock, bless you, sir. I don't know. I really don't know. Al says, "At what point do you guys grow up?" Thanks for the laughs. I'm never. Man, I'm 26 years old. If I haven't grown up yet, I'm not going to grow up. I'm not going to grow up. I'm 29 years old, and I'm not going to grow up.
And he will every single time.
I'm not 29. I wish I was 29. You know. Anyway, Cody Strickland says Aaron is going to be the new Tom Brady and get a ring for another team since they don't want to pay him. How do you not want to pay Aaron Rodgers? He had an MVP season. Give the guy a 2-year deal.
Yeah. It's dumb.
Pay the guy.
It legit is one of the dumbest things that I've seen in my life in the NFL.
Before we go, by the way, because it's almost
it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. By the way, do we have anything? Breaking news: Kansas is set to hire Buffalo Lance Leopold as their football coach. Nobody cares.
Okay, his name is Leopold. That should all
Okay, so there is a draw going on in the sneakers app right now. It is the Travis Scott Air Jordan 9. Are you on it? I think I'm on it.
Well, it's gonna sell, so of course you're on it.
I think I'm on it.
They
And
updated the sneakers app.
yeah, and I can't get in right now, by the way. I should probably get off Wi-Fi anyway. It only comes in a 14? Fuck, are you serious? Like, this is what I don't get. Why do this to me?
Can you measure it? Can you measure it?
Are you serious with this? God. I was having...
Suckmyass.com.
Why do you not make shoe...
That's what fucking ticks me to fuck off!
How? How do you not make this shoe in a 15?
Concept you and your sticky fingers probably find hard to grasp.
I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on you.
What the fuck does one thing have to do with the other?
Yeah, Jake, go for it, you jerk. Are you kidding me that they will not make this shoe? I hate you so much.
All right, here we go. Join in the draw.
I still can't. Oh, my God. I still can't join the draw.
Sitting here spinning.
Yeah, I'm sitting here spinning. I can't believe they don't make this shoe in a 14. Anyway, we have to go soon. I'm 72 and I'm trying real hard not to grow up. Don't. Just Google search Luca's mom like real Fat Jesus did.
It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
I'm telling you, you want virility and you want vitality? Google search Luca's mom. Fat Jesus says they offered Rodgers more money but insisted he shave his horrible porn stash. Yeah, hey, man. He ain't getting rid of the flavor saver. He's still got some Olivia Munn on that thing. Anyway.
$250? This shoe is $250 right now.
Yeah, it's going to be worth like $1,000.
It's okay, it won't matter.
Dude.
I can't get in either.
All right, here we go.
I'm trying. Okay. All right, since we're totally off the rails, what's the most you're willing to pay for a Jordan?
This is pushing it. Like, I'm never getting this shoe, but...
Dude, I can't get in.
If I get this shoe, I'm immediately selling it. I don't even want it.
I can't even get in, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dude.
Monty, how many shoes do you have? Don't start.
Dude.
I just ordered...
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram. You can see The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show on Instagram. Jake is SLC Supercars. I probably am pushing 100 pair, well, more than that probably, I guess. I've gone on a huge Air Max 90 run. I still can't get in. On a huge Air Max 90 run here lately, and it just is what it is. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to try and get a size 13. Yes, I'm sure, you little jerk. I can't believe they didn't make this shoe in a 15.
That guy's definitely a dude.
Yeah, like who? Travis Scott, you prick. I can't believe. Why would you not make that in a 15? You make every other shoe in a 15 except the ones I want.
I want better fucking execution.
You like that shoe too?
Oh, yeah, that's a fire shoe.
Is that out today?
Okay.
Oh. Okay, I joined the draw. 6 minutes and we'll lose. Okay, where was I? What were we going to talk about before we ended the show? Oh, my contractor. Let me update you on the contractor. So the contractor was a no-show yesterday, and thank God.
Your contractor didn't show up?
He never came by the house, but his quartz guy did. And he put in the most fire Oceana quartz. It is perfect.
Oh! My mind is blown!
It is! It is perfect! Giggity says, holy S, you guys are killing today. Thank you. It's Friday. Sometimes we get a little loose on Friday. Speaking of loose, Google search Luca's mom. Anyway, hey-o! The point is, the guy installed our quartz in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fire. It looks so good.
Yeah.
It's on my Instagram feed, by the way, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. It's perfect. And it's stunning because this contractor has been terrible.
Okay, explain the dynamic, though. Because this guy who did the quartz is different than, like, the contractor guy or something?
Yeah, he's a subcontractor, which means my contractor hired him to do the quartz. Mm-hmm. It turns out this guy does floors, tiles, and stone. Mm. And so he showed up, like, the first day to do the template, and he's like, hey, man, I'm just going to be honest with you. Your contractor's way too busy. And I straight up said to this quartz guy, do you know what you're doing? Because this project has been really challenging.
It's really unfair.
Yeah, and the quartz guy said to me, yeah, I know your contractor's way too busy. I'm going to get this right for you. Don't worry. And since he said that, he has nailed it. Mm-hmm. He installed yesterday undermount square sinks, beautiful Oceana quartz. Boom. Boom. Done. Yeah, Casey wants to know what happened to the painter. They no-showed. The painter never showed up. So my contractor, the GC on this job, is like, yeah, we'll be there tomorrow morning, today at 9. Oh, we'll be there tomorrow morning. We're going to finish it all up. Job's done tomorrow.
If it's me you want to talk to, perhaps we can arrange a meet.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope you do show up because it would be nice if this job was over. There's also a LeBron Summer Refresh available today for $160. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jared says, hey, can you tell me which one is your favorite Jordan?
Oh, my God, dude.
And he's in China. Okay, well, welcome from China.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The Cool Gray 3 is one of my favorites. The Carolina 9.
Dude, I love probably the Air Jordan 3. I have, I think, 4 pairs of 3s in different colorways. Man, the Air Jordan 1 low, the Air Jordan 1 high, the Air Jordan 1 mid are all really comfortable. The Air Jordan
1 mid bread is basically undefeated.
So my mom and I had an argument over me buying an Air Jordan 9 way back in the day.
Your mom or Luca's mom? I just want to clarify.
No, I hit it with Luca's mom. Me and my mom argued over the Air Jordan 9.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, there's motion at your front. Is this guy here already?
Oh! My mind is blown!
Is he an hour? He's an hour. He's an hour.
How is that even possible?
What are they doing? Like, there's a ladder in front of our... You should probably go check on this, babe. There's a ladder up in front of our house. I don't know. Okay. Hey, man. You want to paint the outside? He's like, hey, man, go paint their house. So the painter probably is here to paint the outside. Oh, they're probably painting our porch. The HOA actually got off their ass and had them paint our porch.
What?
Don't get me started. We don't have time for that. Zach Wilson is a 15-year-old boy. Okay. Whatever you say, pal, that's on you. Jake, outside the Monster Ultra White, do you have another flavor you like?
No, so that's a great question. I don't, and that's only because... Well, it's 2 reasons. So one, I only drink that particular Monster because it's sugar-free. I'm not really interested in having all that sugar. I haven't really been adventurous yet with all the other flavors. So if you have a recommendation on one that you would like, I would definitely love to hear that recommendation. But I have that Monster, whatever flavor that's called. I have that on order with Amazon. I have three cases of it at my house.
Monster Energy Zero Ultra. I actually subscribe on Amazon as well, and I get a case. I get my next case today. But this case is empty.
Empty.
The opposite of full. Wow, dude, I do not do any illicit drugs. I swear. Niall Gardner says every time I watch the Monty Show, I feel younger. You should.
You should. Yeah.
Casey Finland says try the mellow green flavor.
Okay.
Okay. Marcus says, how are you guys not on the Air Jordan 4?
Oh, I am.
Oh, the 4 is great.
I've got the PSGs. I've got the Fire Red. I've got the What the. I've got the Black Cats.
Yeah, the What Does one that got away from me.
Yeah.
I was not able to procure it, unfortunately. It's just one of those. It is what it is. I buy too many shoes, so it is what it is. Mike says, how do you justify being an entrepreneur that you talk about all the time and spending that much money on shoes? Well, that's why I'm an entrepreneur, dick, so that I can spend that much money. Like, why do you? Like, what do you mean?
Admittedly,
No.
with the Amazon
No.
side hustle, for me anyway, I'm having to dial back the output on shoes because I'm trying to grow that thing. So
How do you justify putting? I only work to buy shoes and travel. That's it. And
buy nice cars.
Nice cars.
Because,
yeah, I spend my money on shoes. Thanks for the great start to a Friday, Casey says. You're welcome. Ty says that's the funniest response ever. Well, but it's true. Like, why are you judging me for, like, hey, man, how do I say it? I'm not rich, but I'm not poor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing okay. Believe it or not, I'm doing okay. And one of these side hustles eventually at some point will hit. And I'll stop throwing bad money down the contractor drain.
Okay, 10 seconds to the draw ending.
As well. I agree. Okay, we need to go. Play the
All right,
music.
playing the music.
Hey, we'll be at the Jazz game tomorrow, Saturday against Toronto. If you're there, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram. Would love to say hello. Fat Jesus says, Jake, have you tried Monster Kevin Durant's yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't. Great ball. Great ball.
Oh, that's amazing. Fat Jesus for the win. We'll be at the Jazz game tomorrow. Subscribe to this channel. Take a picture of it. Tag us on Twitter, and you can win this little beaut, an Xbox Series S. Hoping to give that away on Monday, but as soon as we get to 500 subscribers, we're giving it away. Take a picture that you're subscribed. Tag us on Twitter, The Monty Show, SLC Supercars. Tweet it. You're in the contest to win it. What's my line for tonight's game? If the Jazz lose by less than 10, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Until Monday.
Are you looking at me now?
I don't know what I'm
Until Monday, get on Google and search Luca's mom.
Bye-bye.